Let's look at the Nairobian and the Pulse, but let's start off with the Nairobian, where the headlines is Truth About Kidnap Speaker Love Triangle. Of course, this is an interesting read that...
It's always very fascinating that these crop of MCAs, they're called MCAs, disappear for some 2 weeks. A story is told of a man who got so drunk with his sidekick, and he decided to sleep, and he woke up at 8 in the morning, whilst he had expected to wake up at about 2 or 3 to go back to his wife. And he decided to take himself to the police station and told the cops to arrest him, and he gave the cops some money. And then he called the wife from the police station and said, I was arrested yesterday, so come release me. So I think the story is quite similar with what's going on with the MCAs. They keep going into, going into these escapades and then purporting to have been abducted. As in, why would people just abduct or kidnap MCAs?
With no ransom.
With no ransom. Sasa niliokotwa Naivasha, nilikuwa nimelala tu kando ya barabara, nilikuwa ni very sad.
With this particular one, actually, apparently, it's alleged that he was in Lukenya. Getaway, yes, with sidekick. And yeah, some of the waiters were wondering, this guy who's always doing room service. And one of the waiters, I think, after reading the news, just the last day that he was there, was like, are you so-and-so? So he just laughed it off. But if this be true, honestly, why would somebody even want to go through all that trouble?
Because your wife would probably give you a lot of grief. So you want to just, you've lied, you need to cover the lie with another lie to cover the previous lie.
With lies.
And then you end up, not being in the
trouble,
papers.
Really. Yeah. There's no need, just
and
be
he
okay
looks cunning. He has very shifty eyes.
Yes, very shifty these days.
That's the capital news there. And get yourself a good read and get the details. It's quite interesting to actually read and see some of the things that he is alleged to have done. But also on page 2, 10 key but overlooked people in Nairobi. I've realized that in Nairobi there are certain things that sort of happen, and certain people that we're so used to that you totally forget about them. There's the cobbler and the shoe shiner. And I remember seeing a cobbler, at some place in town, and I thought to myself, these guys still are around. And what got my attention is a lady whose heel had come off. And,
that could happen.
That can be very embarrassing.
But they're not as many as they used to. I don't know what happened.
No, not at all.
Especially at Kencom, I used to see tons of cobblers.
But I think it's because of the fee. It has to be the fee.
Kanjo.
Yeah, the kanjo fee. But I'm quite taken. The plumbers. It's really difficult to find a plumber in Nairobi, a good one. And they're
plumbers.
Maybe because of most houses have taken up their own plumber now.
Right.
So you can call...
And do we still have street photographers? I've talked about
this. Yes, I saw a bunch of them at KICC. And they're always, there's a flock of them, like 19 at one. You're wondering, how do you guys divide business?
And do they still do that famous photo?
Yes,
the holding in on top,
Jomo Kenyatta.
They still do it.
Yeah. Okay, another very interesting read in the Nairobian today is Crimes of Passion. I remember Najma Ismail did a story on TV, but now we also have it on print. Crimes of Passion, and these are women who are in jail for having killed out of passion. Whether it was a wrangle between two ladies, it's actually a very interesting story to see, what the extent that people will go to keep their loved one.
It's quite sad, considering you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Although from their account, most of them, it seems like it's not something premeditated. It's just out of a burst of anger.
Temporary insanity.
Yes, temporary insanity. And some of them actually say that when they were doing it, they didn't realize that this would be the effect. But anyway, if you're sticking a knife into somebody, really,
when the blood starts gushing out, chances are they're going to die.
Then you realize, oh my God.
I think it's never that serious. If you're contemplating killing your boyfriend because he's been with your sister, then he doesn't deserve you. You should just walk away and go, there's a better man out there.
But it's just like you've put it, that moment of temporary madness that gets you, and you want to prove to yourself and to them that you don't get away with it.
Please be mad and walk away, There's a Swahili saying in Nairobi. What did they say? Asira haina.
Asira hasara.
Asira inaleta hasara.
Now am I the person to ask us what do you mean? You want to embarrass me? You want to embarrass me publicly with this one?
Asira ni hasara.
Asira ni hasara. I'll probably be hashi.
Ashira. Well, but Asira and Yasara. So when you do that in the heat of the moment, you might do something really bad. It's like hitting somebody when you fall and break their neck. And then you'll be taken into.
Or even just the way you get pissed off and you throw something at someone,
absolutely.
It can end up really. So you need to control that anger. I think for them, I'm sure they're being taught that inside the correctional facility. Hopefully.
Another interesting story on page 23 is it's 20K per night for Janet Mbugwa's wedding guests.
That headline is too catchy, but that's not the story. When
you read it, you realize.
I think she just went out of her way and said, look, she itemized places or hotels where people would sleep in, and the price range is anywhere between 20,000 shillings a night to 7,000 shillings a night for her guests. So it's not money going into her wedding, but it's money for accommodation if you're attending. And then she's taking it somewhere very serene, so for the select
destination weddings have become the in thing.
But it should be. I mean, if you're going to do this,
2,000 random people you've never met eating your rice.
If you're going to do this,
and if you're a true friend, invest. It's fine. Invest in the wedding.
I contemplate to take mine to South Africa, by the way. So what would you do?
You just
hoping there's no xenophobia.
And all the best to them. Congratulations.
Sorry?
I'm saying all the best to John Mbogo and her, newfound love. We wish them the very best.
All the best.
May the marriage last and last. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Okay. Let's also look finally at brainy celebs who followed their dreams.
Yeah, I saw that. That's quite fascinating.
Yeah, they are not academic dwarfs and can easily. And
I need to say this on that.
Page 28.
Page 28. I don't have the pulse. It's just testament to how far talent can take you, because we are this crop of parents who are always insisting that everybody should be a doctor, a lawyer, stroke banker,
right?
Those white collar jobs. But hey, Cream de la Creme, who I actually was my neighbor in Kericho. We grew up together.
Who's that?
Cream de la Creme.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a bright boy, and he still is. But because he's passionate about DJing, it's taking in places, and you can't go without pointing out who was a mathematician.
And the husband, power couple.
And I think even for the arts and media industry, it really is good to see that it's initially there was a notion or a thought that it's people who can't do well in class that end up mistakenly onto this, but it's good to see that they're actually good, their brain boxes, and they've brought it on and are doing well as well in the industry.
In fact, you need education to do better in these fields as well. Most people think that you can drop out from
in every field, because I remember talking to somebody and we were saying how if you take a farmer, for example, who is educated and a farmer who's not educated, you're likely to see a big difference.
Absolutely.
And even the fields we are talking about, most of the guys who are probably doing well in class, you'll find don't have those.
I've spoken to Nameless. He's a very smart individual.
Of course.
You get the sense that he has a vision and a plan for what he's doing and where he's going. And you want to interact and do business with people, even in corporate level. If you're going to call somebody to sing at your AGM, you want somebody who would understand that you're paying process delays for 30 working days, and that does not mean they have to barge into the CEO's office and saying, So education is wholesome.
And even in terms of some of the functions that you'd invite them, somebody needs to have a
certain knowledge of something, and if they can't,
you go to some functions sometimes and you find this guy who's totally forgotten. He knows he's the celeb, but he's in everybody's face and shouting, and guys, I want to
get out of here
without
get off my face.
So it's a good thing. So the guys who want to wrap up, I once went to give a talk in Kayole, and the guys, about 300 people were saying the way they want to be rappers. Unajua mimi mazee niliacha chuo juu niliona inisaidii tu buda, unajua, so nika drop out, nikaona so nifanye tu ngoma ushanipata, so niko tu rapping jo. Like that's a horrible idea. So stay in school. I think this would be a brilliant article for everybody who wants to be a celebrity to read.
They need to go to school.
You need to go to school. Education is very nice and wholesome.
And if you did drop out for whatever reason, it's never too late.
And I remember reading an article, I think it was yesterday or the day before, one of the former Miss Kenyas wants to start etiquette classes for VIPs, but I think even...
Yeah, I saw it, yes, I saw it. Grace Kirungu had it, I think, at the start.
There needs to be a certain amount of intelligence, and I'm not talking about bookwork here, but just intelligence of knowing how to handle a crowd in different crowds.
Crowd intelligence. I've been to events where somebody says something so
wrong.
Oh my word. Everybody cringes on their seat. Wacha niseme vitu mbili juu Wahindi. Unajua Wahindi? I'm like, oh my God, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that.
Because
totally
at that point, the Indians have sponsored the event.
You know, and now he wants to start bashing India.
Right.
Oh my God, don't do it. So school helps you do that. Where you cannot start insulting Adhiambo because of her tribe, yet she's the person owning the event and you don't know. And you start saying, you know?